everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Coach's Call. And today I want to talk about Mitch Marner of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mitch Marner has broken the Toronto Maple Leafs all-time point streak as he did it at 19 games. He's at 19 games. So he's gotten a point in the last 19 games. He scored shorthanded and a power play goal in the Toronto Maple Leafs overtime loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning on Saturday night. But he extended the point streak and is now at 19 games and is the holder of that streak for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, I want to put some perspective, and I want to say this. Look, I really like Mitch Marner. I've liked Mitch Marner as a hockey player for a long time, ever since he came into the league. I've been touting him. If you listen to some of my previous shows, I'll say, I don't know if I'm a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs system, but I really like Mitch Marner. I think he would even be doing this or playing even better if he had a different team earlier in his career. But I want to say this. The 19-game streak Mitch Marner is also the same Mitch Marner that 7 or 8 months ago was the 18-game playoff goalless drought Mitch Marner. And at the time, Toronto media, Toronto fans, they were all clamoring. Mitch Marner's got to go. Mitch Marner can't do it. You know, we're losing. Mitch Marner hasn't showed up. Him and Austin Matthews aren't working. They weren't. But back then, look, 7 or 8 months ago, Toronto Maple Leafs sure could have used 19-game point streak Mitch Marner as opposed to 18-game playoff goalless drought Mitch Marner, right? I mean, look, Mitch Marner's no slouch. He's got 486 points in his entire career. This year, he's got 10 goals, 21 assists in 26 games, 31 points. But here's where it gets funny. Here's where it gets funny again. Before I say that, he's on the verge of actually breaking another record. He's 9 points away from beating Tim Horton's point record in terms of where he would sit in the franchise all time. And can you imagine that? Tim Hortons, Timbits, coffee, donuts. Long time, it was a Canadian staple, right? I don't know. Maybe it still is. Maybe not as much. I guess they had a resurgence with the Tim Biebs for a while. But think about this for a second. Can you imagine where are you going? Oh, I'm going to get some Mitch Bits. I don't know if that has the same ring to it. Anyways, that aside, he's going to pass Tim Horton. He's going to pass Tim Horton, and he will sit 7th in the all-time point franchise history for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That'll happen this season. So he's achieved the record here in 453 games. And when you look at that and you see what's going on in the media now they're talking about 19-game point streak Mitch Marner, and the media and the fans are talking about, well, hey, you know, if he can maintain this pace, if he could reach, you know, the same career games as Borje Salming, he could beat Borje Salming, the late Borje Salming, great player, right? He could beat Borje Salming if he maintains this pace. You know, if he stays here and he maintains this pace, he could beat Borje Salming in terms of assists, you know, through the 1,099 career games, because, you know, he sits at about 339 now in 452 games. I just want to let the games sink in. 452 games, Mitch Marner. 1,099, Borje Salming. Mitch Marner has a lot of hockey to play to reach that. Mitch Marner would have to keep this last stretch of 19 games pace for the rest of those games. This is the same Mitch Marner who went goalless 18 games in the playoffs. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying let Mitch Marner play hockey. Let Mitch Marner be the player that Mitch Marner can be and the player that he is being right now. I don't know that he can sustain this when it comes to playoff time. And I don't know if it's the environment that will have something to do with that. Time will tell. Right now, Mitch Marner sitting at number 8 for all time in franchise history. In terms of points, broke the record and holds the longest streak record. Time will tell in a few months. It was only a few months ago that he went 18 games goalless in the playoffs. That's the coach's call.